Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are Your Bourbon Journey. Day 7. We are at day 7 of our Advent calendar.
A week.
A whole week.
We've made it a week.
We've made it a week. Can we possibly make another 17 days?
Yeah, we can do it.
I think we possibly can. So, Rebecca, explain what in the world is going on here.
Well, we came up with 24 bottles from our collection, a variety of rye, bourbons, and American single malts. And the bourbons are further divided into rye mash bills, wheated mash bills, and finished bourbons. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to try to guess which category is in this glass. We sometimes try to guess the proof just because it helps us with determining. And sometimes we even make a wild guess on what we think the actual pour is, but that's a little challenging sometimes.
So let's go ahead and let's pick up our wonderful red glass, which we got where?
At the Bourbon Women Symposium.
At the Symposium.
Oh, this is very different than what we had yesterday.
The Aberana finish, and Barry's out there probably jumping up and down that we did that.
Oh, this is darker.
I get vanilla. There's vanilla there.
I'm getting dark caramel. I'm still dealing a little bit with a cold, so my nose isn't as good as usual, but.
Well, you know, with a cold, you still smell better than I do, because it's like, I get caramel.
I smell better? Thanks.
I get a lot of sweetness. This is a very nice smelling, elegant bourbon. It
smells like a traditional bourbon, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if I were to guess, we haven't tasted it, I would guess it's your traditional rye mash bill.
Yes.
But I'm getting even on the nose, a little bit of tobacco. A little bit of tobacco. And it hasn't been sitting here very long, so we just poured it out of our cute little sample bottle. Oh, I've got it ready to taste it.
Yes.
Yeah. We got to jump in. Oh.
Well, hello.
That is good.
Smoky.
Yeah, it's got some real smokiness.
Tobacco.
Everything I was getting on the nose is almost amplified on the palate. Leather. You're getting a lot of barrel notes.
Yes.
I think it's yummy. I mean, it's probably the darkest, deepest bourbon we've had so far. Let's try another sip.
I think it's a lot different on the nose than on the taste.
And I'm getting them very similar because I started getting some tobacco notes to start with, but yeah, it's like a dark caramel. And I'm also getting some date notes. So usually I often get date when I'm getting that tobacco and some leather notes. That's when I will get that really dark fruit of date.
Well, I'm getting cinnamon on the second taste. Very bold cinnamon to me. Not overbearing, but it's there, and it's very clear with leather, tobacco. What do you think about the finish?
I'm going to do another sip just because I have to. It's very lasting. It's like a warm hug. We sometimes talk about this in some of our other tasting videos. It's kind of a winter bourbon hug. You know, it's got that dark notes, like you'd sit by a fire and really enjoy this. It's got cinnamon and the leather. I'm getting mostly leather and almost some pipe tobacco on the finish.
I always tend to get this when there's something I really like. I'm getting black pepper.
Yeah, because you love black pepper.
I do like black pepper.
It's my least favorite pepper.
I like it in Bloody Marys. I like it on eggs. I like it. I like black pepper.
So anyway, back to this. It's got black pepper.
I think I said that.
Yeah. So for me, it's got a lot of char notes that are really, really good and terrific. Do you agree it's a bourbon?
Yes.
I don't think it's a wheater.
It's not a wheater. It's not a rye. It's not a single malt.
No, this is a pure bourbon that
finished.
Has earned its rank in bourbon world, right? Yeah. And I would say it tastes like a bourbon that's been around a while. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not like a newcomer bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. I feel like it's steeped in tradition because it's so good, and I'm just not sure.
I'm not either.
I have an idea, but I really don't want to be wrong if I would say that.
Well, I feel the same way about it because there's a lot of traits for me that remind me of something my cousins are doing.
That's what I was thinking.
Is McBrayer. McBrayer bourbon, the Judge, but there's part of it, the finish is a lot like that.
Yeah. And the tobacco notes and the leather, especially the Judge 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Judge has come out 4 times thus far. I won't get into a big spiel in case it's not the Judge. If it is the Judge, we'll come back and talk about it some more. But I was thinking that too. It almost had this heirloom quality to it.
The only thing about it is the beginning of it didn't remind me of it. So I don't know.
Yeah, as it's sitting with me longer, I was starting to feel that. I didn't want to jump in and say it and influence you in any way. I'm just going back to our tasting we did in the spring where we compared Judge 1 through 4. And this has so many, between the date and the tobacco and the long finish, I don't know. I'm really leaning there.
We
have not had a sip of that in a long time. We've not poured from that bottle
it's been quite a while.
Except to go into one of these things. We have not poured. Should we look it up? Because I'm just dying to know. I'm dying to know.
Right now,
I need to know.
In the room we're in, we're not in our bourbon room here, but I can actually see the bottle of McBrayer 4.
Yeah, because it sits in here.
E,
looking for E. It is a bourbon.
Okay.
It's my notes on age. We didn't talk about age, but it says it's a blend of 5, 6, and 7-year-olds.
It's probably. I will be very surprised if it's not the Judge.
Me too. Proof 106, price 100. Yes, it's W.H. McBrayer, the Judge, the 2024 release. It took us a bit to get there, but we got there. I would have been so disappointed in not picking that one, and Bill would be watching us and going, "You didn't pick ours."
Yes, but for me it was interesting because we have tried it. We reviewed all 4 to determine, because Bill had asked us about doing it, to determine which one we thought was the best.
Which was hard because they all have great nuances to them.
Yes, and we had concluded we liked 4 the best.
For our palate.
Yes.
We liked 1 and 4.
Yeah.
They were really crossing in several common ways. But the really interesting thing for me for 4 was that it had the older barrels and it had some pieces of 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
And I think it just brought the best of both worlds. It does have the original recipe, which is probably why I was feeling like this has been around for a while.
Well, the back end is what made me really think about it, because when we initially did the Judge 4 and went over it, it is a very mature bourbon. This is something.
Yes, that's a good word for it.
This is not something for a passive bourbon drinker. This is for somebody that really and actually likes to also smoke cigars. This is a very mature bourbon in a lot of ways, and I'm not just saying that because my last name and because they're cousins. This is a really, really good bourbon and a really good product.
And disclaimer, we do not make this bourbon.
No, we do not.
We are not affiliated with it, except that we love them and appreciate them and love what they're doing with McBrayer Spirits. We support them, but we're not affiliated with the brand.
We are cousins by blood, several removed, but we are in the McBrayer line. But most importantly, we actually are friends of theirs.
Yes.
And we
great
really,
people.
They are, and we really love them.
And the mash bill has some heirloom corn in it, which I think why I was getting some of that kind of that dusty feeling to it.
Yeah, okay, interesting call.
It's so good, but Bill is good. And if anyone out there that's watching is not familiar with them, we'll have to put a link to them in our story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bill the third and Bill the fourth, your family, your friends. We love you. Your bourbon is outstanding. Cheers to you, and I hope you both have a Merry Christmas. To all those that are out there listening, I hope you have a Merry Christmas as well. Hope you'll be back and you will follow us, and we'll see what comes on a date.
Date's coming up. Cheers.
Cheers.